There aren't a lot of things that I can say when it comes to mountain hunting. Basically, if you want a rifle for this particular activity, it simply boils down to aspects like reliability, accuracy, weight, and the ability of the gun to take a hell of a lot of beating. Of course, not all rifles are up for this burden, so yeah, you better check the ones I listed in this video. Fellow preppers, this is Ted from Ant Prepper, and today, I am going to introduce to my top recommendations for a hunting rifle that you should seriously check this 2025. But before I begin, I humbly ask each of you to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Those little clicks will help me create more videos that are helpful to preppers and those who simply want to survive this crazy world. Now let's get started. SACO 85 Carbonite. The SACO 85 Carbonite really deserves its name. It's ridiculously lightweight, as it is just under 5.3 pounds or so for some models, which makes a huge difference when you're trekking through miles of rugged terrain. Of course, you can thank the carbon fiber stock for that. It's not just any carbon fiber either. SACO went all out with a high-quality, hand-laid carbon fiber construction that's not just light, but incredibly strong and rigid. In fact, they even gave it a soft-touch coating that adds some texture, so it feels secure in your hands even when things get wet or your gloves are on. That coating also dampens a bit of the shock from firing, and that gives me a bit more control shot after shot. The carbon fiber stock isn't just about weight savings, though. I think you already noticed that it has an ergonomic shape that just feels right when you shoulder it. The cheek piece is nicely contoured, and the whole thing balances really well, even with a scope mounted. The grip and forend have a subtle texture that gives you extra control without feeling abrasive. Whether you're shooting offhand or from a prone position, the SACO 85 just feels rock solid. The action is classic SACO, and boy, this is the one I find pleasing the most. It's smooth as butter and as reliable as they come. The 85 series has a controlled round feed, which is a big deal if you're hunting dangerous games or just need absolute reliability. The bolt itself is made from stainless steel, which adds durability and keeps it slick and smooth, even in nasty weather. Then there's its 3-lug bolt with a 70-degree lift, which allows it to cycle nice and fast without bumping into your scope. One of the standout features is SACO's safety system. It has a 2-position safety with a separate bolt release button, which means you can unload the rifle with the safety engaged. It's a damn crucial feature when you're hiking with a loaded rifle and need to unload safely without taking off the safety. SACO's cold hammer-forged stainless steel barrels are legendary for their quality, and the Carbonite is no exception. The spiral fluting not only cuts down on weight, but also helps with heat dissipation, which means your point of impact doesn't shift even after a few rounds. The barrel is free-floated as well, to eliminate any pressure points from the stock, which in turn should give you that consistent accuracy you need when making longer shots. Plus, they've threaded the muzzle so you can easily attach a brake or suppressor. The trigger on the Carbonite is adjustable and crisp as can be. It breaks at about 2 to 4 pounds depending on how you set it up, and it's got zero creep. You don't have to worry about any mushiness when you're trying to make a precise shot. It's one of those triggers where you almost forget it's there because it just does its job without drawing attention to itself. The smooth, predictable break makes a big difference when you're lining up on that once-in-a-lifetime shot. SACO 85 uses a detachable box mag that's incredibly well made. It's polymer but doesn't feel cheap. It's rugged and locks in with a reassuring click. The magazine release is designed so that it's not going to accidentally drop out while you're hiking, which is a common issue with some other lightweight rifles. It holds 5 rounds in standard calibers and 4 in magnums, giving you plenty of firepower without having to constantly reload. Kimber Mountain Ascent. When you're huffing up steep ridges with a pack digging into your shoulders, the last thing you want is a heavy rifle weighing you down. That's why I swear by the Kimber Mountain Ascent. This beauty tips the scales at just under 5 pounds, making it a dream for those of us who chase games in the high country. One of the first things you'll notice is the carbon fiber reinforced stock. Not only does it shave off precious ounces, but it's also tough as concrete, standing up to the bumps and scrapes that come with serious backcountry hunting. Meanwhile, the stainless steel barrel is fluted, which helps keep the weight down, and of course aids in the cooling during those long shooting sessions. Needless to say, it's threaded at the end, so you really have the option to easily slap on a muzzle brake or suppressor, depending on what you actually need at the moment. Now, let's talk about its bolt. By all means, Kimber didn't cut any corners here. The bolt's spiral fluting and skeletonized knob, in particular, not only look slick but also contribute to the rifle's lightweight design, minus the need to sacrifice its structural strength. The action is smooth as butter, which is something I really appreciate when that trophy of a lifetime steps into view. The trigger comes factory set at about 3.5 pounds, so by process of elimination, it offers a crisp and consistent pull. If you're like me and like to tinker, it's adjustable, so you can dial it in just the way you like. Its accuracy is also its strongest point. This rifle's got it in spades. You'll be surprised by how precise and deadly this rifle is when shooting from distances. Kimber backs the Mountain Ascent with a sub-MOA guarantee, and the test target that came with mine showed a tight 0.59-inch group using factory ammo. In the field, that kind of precision means confidence, and that confidence leads to successful takedowns. All in all, the Kimber Mountain Ascent is a top-notch choice for those of us who demand performance without the extra weight. It's a rifle that feels like it was made for hunters who live for the mountains and the challenges they bring. Browning XBolt Mountain Pro Tungsten. The Browning XBolt Mountain Pro Tungsten is one of those rifles that proves that you don't need a heavyweight construction to make a rifle work like a tank. You pick it up, and right away you notice how insanely lightweight it is. It's just a little over 6 pounds, depending on the caliber. That's a huge deal when you're huffing it up steep terrain all day. The secret to that lightweight feel is the carbon fiber stock. It's not just some generic carbon fiber either. This stuff is high strength and precision laid, giving it a solid feel without adding weight. Plus, Browning gave it a tungsten Cerakote finish, which is a lifesaver in rough conditions. That finish isn't just for show either. It seriously holds up against scratches, moisture, and just about anything you can throw at it. One of the best parts about this gun is the barrel. Browning went with a spiral-fluted stainless steel barrel, and it's not just there to look pretty. The spiral fluting cuts down the weight even more while also helping dissipate heat. That means you can take a few shots without worrying about your accuracy tanking because the barrel heats up. They also threaded the muzzle and slapped on a radial brake. Now that brake is really crucial when you're shooting heavier calibers like 300 Win Mag or 6.8 Western. It cuts down on recoil significantly, which means you can stay on target more easily for follow-up shots without your shoulder getting pounded. And even in the event that brakes aren't your thing, it's removable, so you can swap it out for a suppressor or whatever you like. The action on this thing is buttery smooth. I personally love this one, as it's a 3-lug design that features a short 60-degree bolt lift, which is great for keeping your scope low while still being able to cycle fast. The bolt itself is also spiral fluted to match the barrel, and this one actually reduces friction. I can really feel how slick it is when I'm working the action. Another thing I love is the oversized bolt knob. When you're out there with gloves on, it makes a world of difference. You're not fumbling around trying to get a good grip on it. Meanwhile, the XBolt Mountain Pro features what Browning calls the feather trigger, and it breaks like glass. It has no creep, just a crisp, clean pull. It's factory set to about 3 to 3.5 pounds, which is right in the sweet spot for hunting. I've taken some pretty long shots with it, and it never leaves me second-guessing about my trigger control. The trigger guard is made from alloy too, so it's light and tough, and you're not going to mess it up if you take a spill. One of the things that really makes this rifle stand out is the magazine. It's a detachable rotary mag made of polymer, and it holds 4 rounds in standard calibers and 3 magnums. What I find so cool about it is how it sits flush with the bottom of the rifle. There's nothing hanging down to snag on your pack or clothing. The rotary design makes feeding super smooth too. You never have to worry about jams, even if you're cycling fast. To top it all off, they made sure the thing was ready to mount up a scope without any fuss. It's drilled and tapped for Browning's X-Lock scope mounting system, which uses 4 screws per base instead of the usual 2. That makes your scope solid as a rock, with no chance of it getting knocked loose no matter how rough you get with it. Weatherbe Mark V, Backcountry 2.0. When you're heading into the mountains, every ounce and every shot counts. Hence, you really need a rifle that's lightweight, reliable, and capable of long-range accuracy without sacrificing power. That's where this Weatherbe Mark V Backcountry 2.0 really stands out. It's obviously built to be lightweight without cutting corners on durability or precision, and for me, that's one of the biggest reasons why it's such a solid pick for mountain hunting. The first thing you notice about the Backcountry 2.0 is how ridiculously lightweight it is. Depending on the setup, it can weigh as little as 4.7 pounds for its titanium action version and about 5.2 pounds. Of course, 5.2 pounds is still incredibly light for a Magnum rifle. The key to keeping that weight down is the Peak 44 Blacktooth carbon fiber stock, which only weighs about 19 ounces. But it's not just light, though. This stock is tough as nails and has a raised Monte Carlo comb that helps with a proper cheek weld, even when you're using a larger scope. It's engineered to withstand the abuse of rough terrain while still giving you a steady shooting platform. Another big plus is the Mark V action itself, which is one of the most iconic features of Weatherbe rifles. This one has a 54-degree bolt throw, which is noticeably shorter than the standard 90 degrees most bolt rifles have. Of course, what that means is that the rifle is capable of super fast cycling and reduces the risk of the bolt interfering with your optics. It also features a 9-lug design that locks up solid, giving you peace of mind when you're pushing those Magnum rounds downrange. Plus, the spiral-fluted bolt doesn't just cut weight, but it also helps shed debris and grime, keeping your action running smoothly, even when the conditions get rough. One of the things that really makes the Backcountry 2.0 shine is its barrel setup. It uses a cold, hammer-forged stainless steel barrel with fluting, which reduces weight while maintaining rigidity and strength. Depending on the caliber, barrel lengths can range from 22 to 26 inches, which gives you options based on your preferred balance of velocity and maneuverability. The barrel is also threaded and comes with the AccuBrake ST muzzle brake, which, as far as I am concerned, can reduce its recoil by up to 50%. That makes a massive difference when you're running heavy Magnum cartridges and trying to stay on target for a follow-up shot. The TriggerTech trigger on this rifle is also a thing of beauty. It's user-adjustable from 2.5 to 3 pounds and has a crisp break with zero creep. It feels predictable and consistent, which really helps when I'm trying to make those precise shots at long range. It's honestly one of the best factory triggers I've tried for a factory hunting gun, and it doesn't even feel spongy or vague like some others do. The rifle's chambering is another area where I really find it excellent. Weatherbe made sure to offer it in both Weatherbe Magnum cartridges and standard calibers, giving you the flexibility to choose the right round for your hunt. T3X Superite. I've been around the block when it comes to mountain hunting rifles, and I gotta say, the T3X Superite is hands down one of the best options out there right now. This thing is purpose-built for hauling through rough terrain without breaking your back. It only clocks around 6 pounds, and that makes it one of the lightest production rifles you can get your hands on. Of course, that's mostly thanks to the synthetic stock and the fluted, cold hammer-forged stainless steel barrel. The fluting of this rifle isn't just for show either. It cuts weight and helps the barrel cool down faster after a few shots, which is a big deal when you're chasing a game in unpredictable conditions. Plus, since it's stainless steel, it can tank against corrosion, which is exactly what you want when you're slogging through a wet brush or dealing with snow and sleet. The stock on this thing is not fragile either. Tikka really dialed it in with a fiberglass reinforced polymer that makes it ultra tough, but light as a feather. You could bang this rifle off rocks or brush, and it's not going to complain. They also upgraded the recoil pad, and thank God for that, because if you're shooting something like a 300 Winchester Magnum, you're going to want that extra cushion. It soaks up recoil like a champ, so your shoulder doesn't feel like it's been hit by a sledgehammer after a few rounds. Another thing they did right was improve the grip texture. It has more bite now, which makes a huge difference when your hands are wet or gloved up. And since they made the grip modular, you can swap it out for different sizes to fit your hand or shooting style better. That's a level of customization you don't see on most factory rifles. Now, accuracy is where the T3X Superite really shines. Tikka guarantees sub-MOA accuracy right out of the box, and they're not blowing smoke. It's got a cold hammer-forged barrel, made in-house by SACO, and these guys know how to make a barrel that shoots accurately. You are looking at tight groupings even at longer ranges, which is exactly what you need when shooting bull elk steps out at 400 yards. The barrel's free-floated too, so nothing's interfering with the harmonics. It's just a straight shooter, plain and simple. The bolt action on this thing is buttery smooth. It's a 2-lug bolt with a 70-degree lift, which means you're not smacking your knuckles off your scope every time you cycle it. They also went with an oversized bolt handle, making it super easy to work even with gloves on. Inside, it's coated with Teflon to cut down on friction and keep it running smoothly as silk, no matter the conditions. Plus, they made the ejection port bigger compared to older models, which makes single loading rounds way easier if you need to top off in a pinch. And man, the trigger is just about perfect. It's a single-stage adjustable trigger that breaks like glass. It has no creep, no mush. It just cleanly breaks every time. You can adjust it from about 2 to 4 pounds without needing a gunsmith, which is awesome if you like to fine-tune things. It's housed in a steel guard too, so it's not going to get wrecked if you bang it on a rock or drop your rifle. It's rugged and reliable, just like the rest of the rifle.